Hello! Welcome to a snowy Tuesday in New England. I don't know that you can really see it through the window there. It's like 4 inches. All the kids are home from school because they don't want to travel and all that. So I've been prepping some of dinner for tonight while they're having breakfast. And then right after this, we're going to do homework because it's still kind of a school day. So today we're working from the Skinny Taste Fast and Slow. So Skinny Taste is also a blog. Gina Homolka is the author. And this book I picked up at a fundraiser for one of our kids' schools at Barnes & Noble. Had no idea how amazing it was going to be. It's not a vegetarian book or a vegan book, but its premise is that you can either make the meals very quickly or in a slow cooker. So today we're doing the slow cooker Bahn-Mi rice bowl. And so here's a beautiful picture of it. So she's using a pork tenderloin. I'm actually going to be using a tempeh today. Then you see up at the top these pickled carrots and radishes, some shredded cabbage, some sliced cucumber. There's some jalapeno, which I won't be using. And then there's some cilantro in there. So let me show you what we've got going so far. I told you I was using tempeh. So here is my, and this is an experiment. I've never done this before, but I took her same proportions for tenderloin, added 4 tempeh because I want this to be a meal for tonight and for tomorrow. So what's in there is a 1/2 cup of soy, 6 cloves of garlic, a tablespoon of ginger, some cayenne, just a sprinkle of cayenne pepper, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So those all got whisked together, and I put it on top. I'm actually going to bake this probably at like 400 for maybe 20 minutes because that garlic otherwise is raw, and I don't think the kids would like that so much. The other thing that I've got going is a double batch of what's going to be like a sauce for the pickled radish and carrots. So this is 12 tablespoons of white vinegar and a 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Remember, these are all double batches. So this is what is going to marinate to create that pickled vegetable. And you can make pickled vegetables with lime juice and salt, or here you have a vinegar, sugar. This is a really basic base. And so I'm going to make extra of that because you can throw pickled veggies on tacos, sandwiches, salads. They're so tasty. I just love them. So we're going to do that. And then what I have over here is all this stuff that needs to get shredded or sliced in some kind of a way. And that can feel super overwhelming, but I have this great food processor and I want to really show you what this is about. And actually, let me even just take a moment to clean my lens so that you can really see. Hello. So this is a Cuisinart, and a lot of people have asked, oh, if you're doing meals like this, what do you need to make your life go fast? And I often say the blender. But in moments like this, I love my food processor. So I'm also having coffee. It's first thing in the morning. So this comes with a few attachments, one of which is a shredder. And so the bottom, it has a little hooky here that you press down and you slide it into place. There's like a groove inside, and that lines up with the groove that's there. And then you have a little chute attachment, which has to go to the back on this one, and you have to use its little thing. There's all these safety features. So we're going to start with our shredding of carrots and radishes. Now you could slice these or matchstick these. I just find it faster to run them through the shredder. So everything goes in as much as it can hold, but not over because of that locking mechanism. I stick it down. And you can shred for days. It's amazing how quick it goes. And because these are all going to go in there, and because I'm going to allow this to be shredded and not matchsticked, I don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to mix my colors? Or it just doesn't matter. So one more round. And then sometimes if you just let it go for another second, it'll shred up anything that's been sitting on the top there. So once you've got that, you know, now I've got some colors. And so I'm just going to come over because I'm going to have other things that I'm doing and do a quick rinse. So not a really big deal when it comes to, right, I've got a little bit of residue on the top of there. You know, whether or not you had a garbage disposal, you could catch the extras that come off of that. And I'm going to be done with the shredder part of this. So I can go ahead, give that a quick rinse. And sometimes things get stuck in the groove underneath. If so, I often just take my paring knife around the edge. But there's nothing stuck now. But, you know, it's a vegetable, and that's just a quick rinse. It's not a big deal. So then I can come back over here, and this just comes off, and I'm going to dump into this bowl. So really, I'm going to have pickled vegetables for like probably the rest of the week because I've made a large batch. The actual recipe calls for 1 cup and 2 radishes. I did 8 radishes and I don't know how many cups of carrot. I don't like measuring vegetables that much, so I don't do it that often. I measure only to make sure I have enough. That's the only reason I measure. But I use 4 carrots, some of them skinny, but still. Now, in order to pickle these, you do have to move them around so that everything gets a little bit of that vinegar sugar. And just to say, this is not a whole plant way of doing this. If you wanted to do this in a whole plant way, you'd probably use date syrup. I have not seen a recipe, but date syrup is really easy to make. You soak some dates. It's like a cup of dates to, I think, a cup of hot water or something like that for 20 minutes, and then you blend them, and you get this beautiful syrup. The How Not to Die cookbook has a recipe, but I'm sure you could also go online and do a Google search for date syrup. You can also find date sugar. I have not looked for it because it goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. So many things you could buy. You could have coconut sugar and turbinado sugar and date sugar and white sugar and brown sugar and powdered sugar. I can only have so many sugars. It's the same, like, you can have agave syrup and honey and erythritol and what's the other one? Stevia. There's so many. And you know how much, and then sometimes you've bought this whole thing and it's for a teaspoon. And then you don't make that recipe for how long again. So that's good and mixed together. I can set that aside. I'm going to give my bowl a quick rinse. I actually have 2 bowls, so technically speaking, I wouldn't have to give it a quick rinse, but I often try not to do more dishes than I have to because it's bulk. So much bulk. It's another reason for why, actually, too, if I pull out my food processor, I usually go ahead and do a bunch of stuff all at once. So now with this one, I'm using a slightly different attachment. This one just has, it's like a scalloper, if you will, and it is sharp, so be careful with it. And again, I'm going to press that down, plug it in. These match up with very specific grooves. You get used to it over time and figure it out. And now I'm going to do cucumber because the cabbage will be kind of the messiest. So I put a few down in there. Watch how fast. Oh. Hold on. You'll be so surprised. It's over. See? It's over just like that. So this now, I'll have cucumber. I'm doing 2 cucumbers. And you can, again, use these for salads. Even if you had extra post the Bahn-Mi. It's really a versatile thing. So again, I'll give this a quick rinse before I move on to my my red cabbage. And this one too, just a quick rinse. I'm going to actually use this one again. And I've pulled out a bowl. I actually have no idea if this is going to be the right size or not, so we'll see. We'll find out together. If not, there are other bowls. It can be hard to measure, to picture what you're going to end up with. But look how quick and fast. Let me give you a pretty one. It's so, right, it's just perfect. You could do it with a mandolin as well, but it would take a little bit more effort than this. And I'm going slow, right? I'm talking to you and kind of showing you all the little pieces and the way that this works. So you could go even just a little faster than I'm going. Okay. Now we're going to do the cabbage. And the thing is, this is doing the bulk of the work for me. So I've got this really vegetable-friendly meal, totally full of all this fresh goodness. And I'm just sitting here kind of managing the machine. Okay, so I have a full head of cabbage, and I took off some of the outer leaves already, but there's a stem in there. So I'm going to cut roughly around where I think the stem would be. And then I take off the bottom. And then these have to fit in the shoot as well. So I may have to make some of them just a little smaller. But just to give you a sense, oops, hold on. We're not ready. We have to put this part on. It shouldn't just fall into the bowl. You haven't put your attachment on. Okay. So it just flies. It is amazing how quickly you can shred up a head of cabbage. And I do. I just do the whole thing at once. And then I use it throughout the week. So I could pickle it later on in the week if I'm getting sick of it to make a coleslaw. So you could do it with apple cider vinegar, or you could do lime juice depending on what you're eating. You can throw it in a soup. It adds some color. I love it. And it's got a lot of nutritional value. This purple color, it's got a lot of good stuff going on in there. So I just stuffed that bowl absolutely full, and actually you'll see, because I'm just like a no-nonsense. I like to get things done really fast. So probably somebody else might empty their bowl at some point in the middle in order to not overstuff it. But not me! So I've pulled out a couple of these. Another possibility would be to do a great big bowl. Usually with this one, because I've stuffed it so full, I go ahead and do a scoop around the outside. And I'll just stick this in the sink. This one, again, because I overstuff it, I'll probably take a paring knife around the edge when I rinse it out, just to get it clean. And then all that cabbage is in the bowl. So whatever container you want, I'm just assuming we'll use one of these tonight for dinner and one of them we won't. And so this way I've got half of my packaging done, which is why I'm doing it this way. These, I actually probably would not buy these again. They're plastic. I hate waiting for plastic to dry in dishwashers. We're certainly discovering that single-use plastic is not great for the environment. But I have them, and I just feel like at this point the thing to do is just use them for a while until they're dead. So that's kind of the story. That's everything for this particular meal. Oh, I can also show you, I chopped up the cilantro the day that I bought it. So my cilantro is ready to go, all chopped up and pretty. And that's the meal, is the thing. So later on today, I'll just be able to pull out a few of these cold pieces, right? Because that's all prepped. And I'll pull my, just for effect, and I'll throw this in the middle of the day, like whenever we're about ready to eat. And you're going to have this amazing fresh bowl. And I love that about these kinds of foods. Like, I know that I'm getting my family a ton of vegetables, healthy protein. You do want to be careful with things like soy sauce, right? Because they've got a lot of sodium in them. But I often, if I'm concerned about that, I just have the sodium. So I love this recipe. I'm excited to share it with all of you. And I hope that you too will, if you want to use the pork, it goes in a slow cooker and you slow cook it throughout the day. You come home, you pull that out. Oh, and I'll also put rice in the rice cooker because it's a rice bowl. So that too is a really fast thing. I'll dump in 3 cups of rice to 4 cups of water, set it for white rice it'll be today, and you're done. It's so fast. So thank you so much for being with me. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you later.